Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Coming Distractions brought to you by the Nerdpocalypse Podcast. I'm your host, Jay. Okay, guys, let's talk about Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul. This is the newly released film. This is going to be on Peacock streaming, by the way, if you don't have a chance to see it in theaters. This is directed by Adamma Ebo. This is under the Monkey Paw Productions banner. Obviously, that's Jordan Peele's banner. It's produced by Jordan Peele and Daniel Kaluuya as well. The film is, the premise here is that a black prosperity preacher, like the big money preachers or whatever, named Lee Curtis Childs, played by Sterling K. Brown, and his wife, Trinitie Childs, played by Regina Hall, they are having this documentary done about them, sort of single camera shot documentary like The Office or Parks and Recreation's Abbott Elementary style. And they're having this done so that they can rehabilitate their image after this major scandal happened and they lost their massive congregation and basically all their ability to generate money, right? And it's the idea of this sort of mockumentary is to kind of poke holes and not necessarily in some ways poke fun, but it has a quite serious tone to poke holes at the logic of not only the prosperity preacher kind of vibe of like, yeah, but look at my Prada suit and my helicopter and these like fancy cars, which if you don't know anything about that part of sort of preaching these days, that's very real. Like that's not over the top. Like they do have like G6 jets and shit. It's insane. But so it pokes fun at that, but it also pushes at the notion of like, why do we forgive these people for what they do and the hypocrisy in which they these scandals normally pop up, and it's the reason for the scandal is pretty good. Like the way it's sort of slowly revealed as to what the scandal is works really well, and if you're paying attention, you can kind of see it coming, but it's done in like really subtle ways before it kind of all kind of runs up at the screen. Look, I thought it was good. I personally, one of my biggest things is I'm personally not a religious person, but I like that the perspective of the film is not done from my perspective. It's done from a person who clearly has some level of respect and I wouldn't say reverence, but just respect for the black church and like clearly growing up in it and everything else. And they're not so much saying like religion is wrong or shouldn't exist or is bad or anything like that. That's not their perspective. Their perspective is, hey man, we're cool with this, but like just don't be a corrupt piece of garbage when you're doing it. Don't grift people for money. Like be a genuine person. And so that's where I think the movie is going to ruffle some feathers. I think it is going to piss a lot of people off who are very much in that world and you know, sort of in like church every Sunday, these big money preachers and everything else. I think it's going to piss them off. And I'm kind of looking forward to it because I'm looking forward to the sort of dialogue around it and like what that's going to bring. So I actually think this is a long time coming about this topic because it's pretty, in my opinion, you know, my personal opinion is pretty out of hand. But like performance wise and the film wise, it's pretty great. I like the single shot sort of mockumentary thing because in this case, it really gets to the intimacy of those two characters, right? Like, because not only are you dealing with this sort of prosperity preaching and like the money aspects and like these kind of losers trying to generate enough energy to kind of get themselves back on top. There's this undercurrent of their relationship being a mess because of what the scandal was. So there's like almost this gritted teeth performance by Regina Hall as the wife. And this kind of like, hey, everything's fine. Like, let's just move forward performance by Sterling K. Brown. They both do excellent jobs. Like they're both great actors in this. Sterling K. Brown's ability to kind of live almost like perpetually in this pre-crying state in drama where he is always getting people to like to pull that emotion from them, like in This Is Us and things like that. And he's so good as those sort of heavy dramatic characters. It is amazing to watch him do almost a show tunes like character where you're like, this guy is hilarious. And he's not even necessarily intending to be funny, but he kind of brings that. But then there's that right behind his eyes that like, this guy has some stuff he really needs to deal with. And he's able to kind of bring that drama and pepper it throughout even the funnier moments. But when it gets serious, and it gets very serious, it's like, oh, there's the This Is Us version of him, right? There's that heavy dramatic actor behind all of this, even in a mockumentary, right? Like, so that is a great performance by him. Regina Hall's sort of gritted teeth, you know, trying to keep a stiff upper lip. I'm the first lady of the church and everything's going to be okay, even when she's being like yelled at by people and everything else. And she has these like breaks of like, no, I'm a real person. Like, don't treat me like that type of stuff. It's an awesome performance by her. I actually think she is the real standout. Like, and I think Sterling K. Brown's performance is really great, but I think her understated performance throughout this, as she's just slowly trying to like slog through the bullshit, is kind of amazing. Look, a lot of people don't give Regina Hall enough credit. They really don't. As not only a comedic actress, which is kind of how she started, but her turn as a dramatic actress too. Like, and she gets to play a little bit of both here. But I think the sort of understatedness of that performance, the vast majority of the time, is something to watch. So look, Honk for Jesus Save Your Soul is definitely one to watch. You can watch it on streaming now on Peacock. Yeah, this is a cool little movie. And it's a tight like 140, 145 or something like that. So you're not staying too long. It gets its message across, and it's a pretty fun watch. Whether you're religious or not, or whether you grew up in this sort of prosperity preacher arena, like, because that's kind of what it feels like. Whether you're in that perspective or not, irrelevant. I think you'll get it, and I think you'll enjoy it. So, Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul. If I have to give it a score, I'm going to give it 4.5 stars out of 5. I really enjoyed it. So check it out, and we'll see you next time.